Hello everyone, just Goran here and welcome back to another Planet Zoo real life inspiration video, and today we are looking at African elephants. I skipped these initially because I'm going to see some more African elephant exhibits at the end of May, but I got a request from someone who really wanted to see an elephant video, so here we are, and we are starting off for once not with Beekse Bergen, but with Wuppertal. So we are in Germany, and Wuppertal has definitely a really awesome elephant habitat, I want to say, and mostly because of the indoor area. It was kind of mind-blowing in a way. So let's go inside and have a look at that, shall we? So on the inside of the elephant house here, we have a ton of education that I couldn't read because I don't speak German, but most importantly, this beautiful stall area. Just look at the height of this structure and everything. It looks super impressive. There was also a little baby elephant walking around, which of course is just absolutely amazing. But yeah, this indoor space was just super cool and impressive looking. It was just really inspiring. I think this is probably in my top 3 elephant stalls, which we won't see all of because most of those are actually for Asian elephants. But yeah, more education over here on this pillar and all sorts of spaces around. We got this moat over here, and we are looking into the bull separation area over there. They got their own little area in the stall, but everything is visible to the public from here, which is pretty neat. There's also a place for a large pool, which actually Beekse Bergen doesn't have a pool in their indoor area, so that's kind of interesting. And yeah, as we move away to the exit over here, we actually get a peek inside of the kitchen as well. So let's get an even closer peek over here. You can definitely see all sorts of cool stuff in the kitchen there. So I hope that helps you out with your elephant builds. And then as we leave, there's some more signs over here. They're really covering all sorts of topics like evolution, diet, like conservation, just all sorts of, at least from what I could make out, as I don't speak German, as I said. But yeah, coming outside, we get to the first outdoor yard. This is the bull yard, as explained by the sign. So this is a separate holding for the bulls, and yeah, it's not great, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think even compared to Beekse Bergen's bull yard, which is also pretty small, I think this is even smaller. There's also the U-mode, which is not ideal anymore nowadays, so yeah. And then over here we have the main yard for the family, and it looks really cool. I mean, it's got everything that I love about Wuppertal, which is just the fact that it's on a hill. It's like all these elevation changes. It's super interesting, but the habitat itself definitely could use some more space, simply put. And also the same things with the moats. Those are actually kind of a hazard if an elephant falls into that. It has happened in other zoos in the past, and it's just something that really you want to avoid nowadays. So yeah, really awesome indoor area. Not too keen on the outdoor area here, but they do have a really cute baby, so that is worth something. Anyway, we are going to move on to the next zoo, which is going to be Beekse Bergen. And of course, the Beekse Bergen is working on a brand new elephant habitat as we speak, which should be opening sometime soon, somewhere in May. So when I end up making an updated version of this video at the end of May, after I've been to Pairi Daiza, and that will definitely be included as well. It will probably also get its own separate video, like a little Beekse Bergen update. But yeah, over here we have a nice overview of the current habitat, and it's already not that bad. I mean, we got tons of space for the elephants to roam around and explore. We do have the moat. The moat has been blocked off recently with a little hot wire that we can see over here. That is to prevent the elephants from going into the moat and, sticking their trunks over. This is not even the worst footage I have of that occurring. Yeah, that's never a really good thing. But yeah, this is a shared habitat with Himadraeus baboon over here, which we can see always liven up the place a little bit with their antics. It's always fun to see them roam around. They don't interact with the elephants that much. Like sometimes an elephant will make some noise and you'll see the baboons react to it. But other than that, they're pretty much just living side by side. And yeah, I mean, it livens up the place. It's really cool. And there's some pools for the elephants to, you know, drink out of. There's also a bigger pool for them to be able to bathe in. Yeah, overall, just a really, really awesome habitat. It's also going to get updated a little bit from what I've heard with the opening of the new valley. They're going to make some slight changes to this habitat. Really nothing major, so don't expect too much. But yeah, you can go all the way around the habitat, getting a bunch of different views. And over here we can also enter the indoor area. That's definitely something you'll see in all of the elephant habitats. There's always an indoor viewing, so it's probably something you would want to include as well. Over here, some education about ivory trade, a little photo op thing on that jeep. And yeah, you can see the entire indoor stall. Very straight, very practical. It's just, you know, it gets the job done. And it's a nice way to see the elephants when they're inside during the winter and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see the whole family together. As you leave the elephant stall, there's another piece of education right over here about the daily menu of an elephant, everything they eat, really nicely visualized by actually putting it out here. And yeah, that is it for the indoor stall. So I don't have that much footage of the bull yard. I mostly just have pictures of it. I could throw up a picture in a sec. But yeah, over here you can see kind of the gate mechanism of these outdoor holding yards, which is pretty interesting to see and recreate. You can also see some old school elephant fencing over here. That is something the zoo is definitely getting rid of with the newer habitat that they are building. So it'll be nice to see how that will become a lot more safari in a way. But yeah, you can kind of get a bit of a glimpse of the bull yard here. And the biggest elephant in Europe, Calimero, always awesome to see. So yeah, let me just throw up a little picture of the elevated viewing point of the bull yard to give you an idea of the entire layout of it. And we will move on to the next zoo, which I'm sorry to say is Pakawi Park once again. And yeah, over here we have the indoor stalls of Pakawi's elephants, I'm pretty sure. It's hard to tell with this being also the giraffe stall, but I think those things we just saw were the elephant yards. And yeah, over here as we pan across the savannah, we have the elephant yard, and oh my goodness, this is something. Yeah, so obviously this isn't very great. There's some pretty neat education, I'll give them that. But yeah, the habitat itself is really it's small for one, but it's also just so boring. There's nothing here really. So yeah, it is kind of neat. It looks like the what are those, impala and wildebeest would be able to, you know, get in there if they wanted to. So that's neat. But other than that, yeah, it's sad. To give them the benefit of the doubt, I did go ahead and look up the sizes of each of these enclosures to see how well Pakawi measures up, and Pakawi sits here at about 2,000 square meters. Wuppertal, which I also thought was a bit too small for my liking, measures up at about 3,000 square meters, so definitely not great, especially considering they have even more elephants than Pakawi does, like almost double the amount. You'd expect a lot more space there, so definitely not taking that back. In fact, it's actually worse than I thought before. Like, they definitely need to improve that situation right over there. But anyway, on to a much better exhibit. Over here we are at the Zoo of Ouwehands, starting off at the indoor area, where you have a fantastic look at not just the larger holding areas for the elephants, but also the individual stalls over here. So you really get to see how that is all built up, and yeah, that's just super awesome. You can also see a passage over there where they would pass through, and where there's ways for the zookeepers to open up certain latches so they can inspect like the feet or some other things of the elephants. There's this really awesome educational display which you might recognize from St. Reginald Zoo, because I recreated it in there. But yeah, over here we've got a larger holding area for multiple elephants right over here. And there is a little taxidermy elephant right over there, which you can check out. It's quite interesting. But yeah, that educational display. So over here, where there's some signs about how elephants cool off, there's also this interactive display where you have this rubber elephant ear, which you can wave yourself to cool off the elephant. So as you're waving it over there, all of these lights slowly turn blue, and that is how you cool off the elephant, and how an elephant would cool off itself, by flapping its ears like that. Yeah, when you stop waving, it will slowly start to turn red again. Yeah, super awesome. This put such a smile on my face when I first encountered it. It's just absolutely amazing. I really love it. So yeah, that is the indoor stall. Let's move to the outdoor area. Now, we've already seen this part over here. This is the red river hog habitat, which, as you might remember, the elephants actually share their space with the red river hogs, and you can see the elephant habitat right behind this habitat right over here. So as you move along, you will see it from a lot of different angles. I mean, like most the elephant habitats we've seen, you really get to explore all of it because it's such a large space, as it should be. For those interested, by the way, Ouwehands clocks in at about 5,000 square meters for both the bull yard and the family yard. We can see this amazing elephant slide over there. We'll see that a little bit up closer in a moment. There we are. Because yeah, you kind of zigzag around the elephant habitat. You don't go all the way around it. You actually kind of, steer away from it and then come back to it, and steer away from it again and come back to it again. So it kind of stays fresh a little bit. You don't grow bored of it because you have some other stuff to look at in between. But yeah, as I said, the two yards combined are about 5,000 square meters. And since I haven't mentioned it yet, Beekse Bergen's current situation, so before the new habitat is opened, sits about at 15,000, so 3 times the size of Ouwehands here. It's crazy that they're already the biggest by far, and even still they're gonna almost double that space. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, Ouwehands is the second largest on the list at 5,000 meters, and it's fine. It also just looks a lot bigger, right, with the way that it's set up. It's very open, no U modes, just a mode that they can actually get into and get out of if they fall. Well, they're probably not going to fall into this one because it's not steep at all. But yeah, you can see the stalls in the back. There's actually 2 compartments to it with that tunnel in between it that we saw from the inside. And that's pretty much all there is to say about this one. So let's get to the last zoo, which again is not very great. It is the Zoo of Duisburg, again in Germany. Yeah, Germany is just all over the place in terms of quality. Like, they have some amazing habitats, and then sometimes you get stuff like this, which on the surface doesn't look that bad, but really this habitat is, well, I mean, I've been talking in numbers. I do really like this, by the way, this storage crate, or moving crate that you walk through. That's really neat. But yeah, the habitat is about 2,500 square meters, so only a little bit larger than Pakawi. And I think they had about 3 elephants when I was here, and yeah, they were visibly showing stereotypical behavior, and I don't know, I just really didn't like it. I was happy to hear on a podcast, the Zoo Inside podcast, that these are actually going to leave the zoo soon. I was really happy to hear that, and the people of the podcast were like, "Oh, that's such a shame." I'm like, "No, that's good. Like, this would be a really nice, right? Like, look at that stereotypical behavior. Oh my God, this is horrible. This would be a really nice rhino habitat, but not an elephant habitat, and that's just my stance right here." So yeah, you can see some modes. I think they could make that into pools if they want to. At least that's what it looks like. Got like a nice rough surface so that I wouldn't slip on it if it's wet. And then you have these stalls, which are actually quite interesting stalls, but again, not a whole lot of space in here either. Really just these, yeah, kind of individual holding stalls, and then slightly larger space in the middle, but slightly is the keyword there. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting design. I think you can take some inspiration from it, but for the love of God, please make something bigger than this. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. 2 separate yards of about the same size. Yeah, that is pretty much it for Duisburg, and that is it for all the African elephant enclosures that I have visited. Of course, there is still Asian elephants coming up later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. There's a lot more of those, so there'll be a much bigger video, so I hope you look forward to that, but I'll see you next time. Bye bye!